me ask you, what's the one thing that people need the most or that has to register the highest before they make a decision? If you're thinking about they need to be confident, you're spot on. Increasing confidence is required before decisions are made. And the more confident someone is in the decision, the more likely they are to book your hotel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to boost bookings through increasing confidence. So we're going to start with a little story, which is my vacation planning experience. And maybe you've had this too, where you're trying to plan a vacation. And in my case, I was headed to Jamaica and we're going to Montego Bay. So flight, destination, fairly easy to check that off. But when it came to where to stay, amenities, activities, things to do, there were so many choices. And what happened was I ended up with like 12 tabs open, looking through all of the different options, the review sites, trying to increase my confidence and reduce the risk of a bad experience. And your guests are doing the same thing when it comes to booking your hotel. Now, there is, fortunate for me anyways, that I didn't have any issues. My confidence was quite high when I did book, but I have had times where I have booked into a place or made a decision. I've received the confirmation email and then I've doubted and then I've regretted. So why do people often regret their choice? Well, most of the time, it's related to the paradox of choice. 66% of consumers report it's more complicated than ever in this day and age to make the right purchase. If you've ever tried to buy headache medicine lately, you will know, or even cereal. There is a full aisle dedicated in the pharmacy to headache and pain medication. There are so many choices and options, so much variety. But 66% of consumers avoid making choices when they're faced with too much decisions. And travelers face a flood of information that overwhelms really confident decision making. 73% say they look for ways to simplify their experience. And 55% admit they buy products out of convenience, even if a better option exists. So the last two data points explain the increased volume in the OTA shop by price model, where the only comparison is price, and they've made it very easy to book. So it may not be the best price or the best experience, but it's easier, which makes me wonder, could hotels do this too? Independents, for their direct bookings? For sure they can. But many hotels think it's better to offer more deals, more room types, show every amenity, stuff their website with lots of words, overload booking pages with upsell options, and so on. And the real issue is that confusion, friction, and a lack of confidence in the booking process kills your conversions. So, to get guests to pull out their credit card, they must feel clear and confident. Trust always precedes a transaction. How do you help guests increase their confidence so that they book with you and reduce all the other choices and options that they have? Well, there's three ways. One is be more helpful. Number two, be relevant and consistent. And number three is be familiar. So going back to being helpful, how do you be helpful? You be helpful by having a website that is intuitive to what the guest is looking for. Include things like FAQs. Side-by-side room comparisons is one of my favorite ones because essentially your room is your product. So you want to show a side-by-side to help people make that choice easily. And those are just a couple of ideas. Number two, in be relevant and consistent. If, for example, what I see sometimes on hotel websites is they say family friendly, but then you don't find any content anywhere that shows that they're family friendly. There's no kids in the images. There's not very many family friendly amenities on site. So either you're family friendly or you're not. Go all in on the primary audience that you serve in your content. Talk about why you're family friendly, the features that you have at the hotel that would be obviously appealing for families, and be consistent. Talk about it everywhere. Be consistent in terms of if you're a conference hotel, then be a conference hotel in every location and in every presence of your marketing online. And number three, be familiar. Well, people build familiarity and trust through things like social media. What they find on your website needs to match up with what's being talked about on social where your hotel is concerned. Your brand lives outside of your website and across multiple platforms. And one of those is in TripAdvisor reviews, Yelp, Google, and so on. And another one, of course, as I've mentioned, is in social. So you want to be familiar in all of these places so people can build the story about who you are and what you stand for. So all of these three things, be helpful, be relevant and consistent, and be familiar, leads to more confidence so that people will book with you directly as opposed to the competition or even OTAs because they're finding better information on your website. But more reasons to have confident bookers is that there is data that shows that highly confident consumers are 10 times more likely to be satisfied after buying. So if they're very confident, they're more likely to have less regrets, more likely to have less complaints, and that means that you'll have better reviews. Also, highly confident buyers are 6 times more likely to return for future purchases. Hello, repeat bookings. It's what we all want. And the last piece of data, which I find highly confident buyers are 18 times more likely to recommend the brand to friends. Wink, wink. That's advocacy at work. So when it comes to confidence, you really do want confident buyers. You do this by having valuable website content, by increasing the help that you give to the guests booking, and you give them all of the information that they're going to need in a relevant, consistent, and familiar way. No one wants to regret their purchase. Everyone wants to be confident. And the best part is they'll choose you not just today, but also for the future. So I have to ask, is your marketing breaking confidence or building it? And if you're feeling like maybe you could be boosting confidence in your marketing and in your messaging to your guests, and you're not quite sure how to go about that, well, message me. We can work together and change that. Thanks for watching.